Baker, Matt, good evening.
Good evening.
Matt
Yay.
Baker. Hello, Matt. Matt, let's just say, first of all, that your commentary has been a triumph.
Oh, thank you.
It has. Honestly, Matt, I was having a conversation on Twitter about you today, and at Ginger Sweeney says if there were gold medals for commentators, Matt Baker should take gold. Yeah, you're hilarious, though. Yeah, can I just ask you?
Explain, for those who have not followed Matt's commentary, Zoe, explain why he is hilarious.
Well, first of all, you're a gymnast. You were a gymnast, weren't you, Matt?
Yes.
To what level did you compete, by the way?
Well, I was a junior British champion. But I was a long time ago. And
Matt,
people always keep asking me, can I do the splits? I can't do the splits. For everybody that keeps wondering, can't do the splits, but I can still do a handstand and I can still do a few moves.
I've seen him do flick flacks. He did them on Strictly Come Dancing. We know he can do that.
There was a hint of false modesty about that. I was just a junior champion.
So you never got to compete in the Olympics. But it does mean that you are, the excitement that you have for the sport of gymnastics, it just comes across. It's just incredible.
Well, the thing is, for me, I just feel what they're going through. I mean, obviously, like you said, I didn't get to that level, but you know, once you've swung around the bars, you've done somersaults and all, you never lose that feeling. And it's interesting actually, because I was talking to Olga Korbut tonight about that very thing, and she was saying exactly the same thing. She just wants to be down there, you know, and you just never lose it, and it's such an exciting, free feeling. And I just love it. And when these gymnasts then nail their dismount, and you think of all the hours of hard work and everything that's gone in, and then suddenly, bang, arms would go up into the air. Everybody's up on their feet, and yeah, it's just what comes out. To be honest with you, the trouble is, I never think about what I'm saying. That's probably
That's probably the joy, though. Can I just say, great name drop there, Olga Korbut. Not many of us can drop that into conversation.
She said to me, here, she said, I've got something for you. She went to it, she had this little zip bag, and she pulled all of these medals out, and she said, here, would you like to hold this? And she got this gold medal out from Munich, 1972, and that was where she made her Olympic debut. And I'm standing there holding Olga Korbut's Olympic gold medal.
Were you not tempted to raise your arms in the air and do one of those kind of gymnastics?
I was kind of commentating to myself at that point. You know? I was hitting the roof, but there you go.
Matt, explain the joy of it for those of us that have never done gymnastics, which is essentially all of us.
Yes.
No, Zoe, sorry, have you done gymnastics?
I
Zoe?
did modern rhythmic gymnastics, but not like I wasn't very good.
What standard and when?
I wasn't very good, but I used to run the scores at Wembley for major competitions, and I once fell in love with a Chinese tumbler.
Is this before or after you went out with someone from the Lemonheads?
This is way before that.
Was it the drummer?
Yeah, it was the drummer. Let's move back to gymnastics.
Yes, the feeling, to be honest with you, I mean, I can only obviously talk about it from my perspective, but when I first started, and I started, you know, just because the reason I started was because I just kept climbing the walls and bouncing up and down on the sofa, so Mum and Dad were like, right, we've got to get into some kind of gymnastics class. And as soon as I started doing all of these rolls and backward things and, you know, up in the air and stuff, I just thought, you know what, this is what it feels like to be free, and I just love this feeling. And it is a feeling thing, and it's a thing about, you know, perfection and you trying to kind of achieve the ultimate. And, you know, you learn about dedication and what it means. You put the hours in, you know, you put in that effort and you get a result. And I think for me that's what life's about, really.
That's a nice phrase.
Pushing yourself.
This is what it's like to be free.
Yeah. I suppose it sounds a bit Billy Elliot-like, doesn't it? You know, when he was dancing around and jumping about and all, that was exactly what it was like for me. And growing up in the Northeast, and, you know, I used to get a lot of hassle for doing gymnastics when I was younger. And this is the thing, what these lads have done, and the way that they won that medal, I'm sure that there'll be so many young lads all around the country now that just want to be in the men's gymnastics team, because what they do just looks incredible. And I know that when I was a young lad, everybody used to say, oh, you know, did you jump around on the beam? Do you do all that kind of stuff? Do you wear a leotard and all of that? And then you go, no, men's gymnastics is very different to women's gymnastics. But you could never, ever convince anybody. And what these lads have done, they've made everybody realise that they are true athletes. And in my eyes, gymnastics is the ultimate sport. And they say faster, higher, stronger, you know, with the Olympics. And that is what gymnastics is all about.
And it was an absolute thrilling men's team gymnastics final yesterday, wasn't it? I mean, the last time we reached the final, won a medal in that discipline, was over 100 years ago, wasn't it?
It was exactly 100 years. And the thing is, obviously, gymnastics is so different these days than it was back then. I mean, you know, during that competition in 1912, rope climbing was involved, and they did like like military drill.
Fantastic. Is there any footage? I'd quite like to see that. Can you imagine them reintroducing that? We have actually got a clip that we played on the show last night of you and your reaction to what happened. This is great.
I'm glad it's those three gymnasts performing on floor for us. Christian, Daniel and Max, really steady characters, because it's not easy to be steady here.
All eyes are on the board! I cannot believe this! Kairi Kimura has got 13.466. That means that Great Britain have a silver in the men's team final at the Olympics. Now this is totally unprecedented.
It's so infectious. And it's infectious because it's authentic, Matt, because it's real. You know, because a lot of presenting is salesmanship, and sometimes you have to be enthusiastic when you're not really enthusiastic. But that's how you felt in that moment.
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah, and it's a very interesting point, that, actually, Rich, because, yes, you know, obviously as presenters, we're all, you know, trying to drum up on a subject or whatever it is and learn about it and then try and present, you know, the best that you can. But with something like gymnastics, it's something that I've grown up with, that I love, and what you hear is just a reaction, and I have the opportunity to try and put into words what those gymnasts are feeling under very controlled and focused situations. Actually, what they're feeling inside is you know, they just want to scream and jump about.
It's interesting to hear that it has a sort of military origin, the gymnastics in the Olympics. I think the pentathlon has something similar. I think that was originally the 5 disciplines that an army officer was meant to be good at.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and you know, it comes with the Greek word gymnos, which means nude. Right, and back in the day, in the ancient Olympics, married women weren't, or women in general, weren't allowed to come in and watch because the men would be jumping around naked.
There are certain moves that some of the gymnasts were doing yesterday you would not want to be doing naked, because things might get caught.
That's where the rope climb came in trouble, I think.
Let's talk about the women's team gymnastics today, because I watched it on the telly. Beth Tweddle, lovely Jenny Pinches, and Rebecca, do you call her Miss Twiggy Tunney?
Tunney, yeah.
Yes.
Twiggy's a nickname.
How did they do today?
Yeah, they did really well. I mean, they finished in 6th. They started on beam, which was a bit of a dodgy piece for them anyway in qualification. And unfortunately, Jenny Pinches, I mean, it wasn't really a difficult move either. She'd got through quite a lot of the routine, the most difficulty, and it was kind of a split leap where she maybe lost the focus a little bit, know that she was shaking quite a lot under the pressure, and suddenly, bang, you know, she was off, and then this recovery started, and they did a super, super job. I mean, it was a tough competition, but to come 6th in that kind of company is really brilliant. And you know, on the note of Beth you were talking about with the bars, it's really good that she's had the chance to go out there again and sense the atmosphere within the North Greenwich Arena and go out, because she is seriously going for gold in that final. And you know, you don't want to jinx the situation or anything like that, but she has potentially got the hardest routine in the world, as has Lewis Smith on pommel horse. So we have got 2 incredible chances. And the wonderful thing is, in that North Greenwich Arena, there's this, it's so cosy, it feels really welcoming, and when the gymnasts are out there, you know, we've seen a lot of our British athletes maybe crumble a little bit under the pressure, but in that situation, it just feels right, and they're going to go out there and they're going to hit it with confidence, and the more opportunities they get to perform in that arena, the better the chance of gold is.
So and the more confident they'll get as well, I guess.
So there's several more days left of gymnastics.
Yeah.
Matt, you're terrific at this, not just at the commentary, but at the anchoring that you're doing on BBC One. You're on about 11 till 2, I think, or something like that, aren't you?
That's it, yeah.
And
yeah.
Are you having the time of your life doing this?
Oh, honestly, to have the opportunity just to be here is one thing, but then to actually get the chance to try and, you know, translate what's going on to everybody that's sat at home. And I think what the lovely thing about the Olympics is, and I know that, you know, talking to my little 5-year-old son, he's transfixed at the television. He's a massive fan of canoe slalom. And you never normally get the chance to see any of these sports. And there's something magical in the way that it comes across on telly, and you know, all the camera angles and everything, and the information that's brought across, that everybody together feels, you know what, we all really don't know too much about this sport. We're all going to watch it, and we're all going to go enjoy it, and obviously get behind the athletes. And so to be the one that's trying to drumming up the enthusiasm and getting everybody rallied up so that we can get behind the athletes is for me, it is a real privilege.
Good for you, Matt.
And you are amazing at it. And please pass on my sort of like motherly love to all the girls, because I'm watching them today. I was holding my breath, and I was like a mother, and I did cry quite a few times today watching the girls, because it is so emotional. And when they do their landings as well, you're like, please, please land, please.
It just builds and builds and builds, and it's so tense. And when we set them off, you know, we do whatever our little introduction is or whatever, and you set them on the way, and then you're just hoping with bated breath that they're going to get through. And they do, time after time.
I think it's unbearable for any of the gymnasts to watch. But there was a guy I was watching his routine, and he just fell over at the end when he landed on the mat, and he thought years and years and years of training.
I know.
And he lost it then, just in that instant.
I know. And the hardest thing is, in the team competition, it's 3 up and 3 count. Every single score matters. Back in the day, it used to be maybe, 4 or 5 gymnasts up, and they take the best score, the best 3 scores, but every single score counts now, and it's crucial.
Matt, thank you so much. It's so good to speak to you.
No problem.
Good luck with the rest of it. We love you, Baker. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Matt.
Bye, night.
Oh, I love Matt Baker. Thank you so